Hello everyone and welcome to Game 5 of SK Telecom versus MBC Hero. There's another word in there, but I've forgotten it for a second. I kind of blanked out. This is going to be the ace match, and it's going to be against Light versus Bisu. Should be a pretty interesting match, actually, because Bisu is the only player who I seem to be able to call correctly. In this set, I thought Fantasy was going to win his game. He didn't. I thought Best was going to win his game. He didn't. And I thought Light was going to beat Soj last game, and he didn't do that either. The only one who actually triumphed was I predicted Bisu would beat Pusan, and he indeed did. I remember Pusan's name, by the way. Having a little bit of problems with that earlier, although that may have been on the recording that didn't make it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. This is going to be on Fighting Spirit, and Bisu is going to be in the lower right. In yellow, he's going to be the Protoss player, of course, and then Light is going to be in the lower left in brown, Icky Brown. Although actually, now that I look up there, it looks like they changed him from brown to red, because red is a much more dominant color. That is the God's color. We are just now getting to a minute right now. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this game, like I said, I want to say Bisu will win. Bisu is certainly a better player than Light, although lately Bisu's been very lackluster. He's been losing a lot of games that he really, in my opinion, shouldn't be losing. So I'm really going on his potential rather than his actual playing ability. Because right now, his playing ability, I won't say it's, I mean, he could beat me, don't get me wrong, but it's not what it once was. And I'm kind of giving him the props on base what he once was. So Light certainly is capable of beating Bisu. I just think Bisu has slightly the edge, just based on experience. However, remember, this is the match of upsets where everyone I predict is going to win loses, except Bisu. So this one could really go either way. If Bisu wins, I'll be like, well, yeah, I know how to call Bisu. If Light wins, I'll just call it the match of upsets. So I predicted it correctly either way. See how that works? Light is going for Barracks before Expand. And is this Expand going out, or is he actually going to Scout? He's going to Scout. So Light looks like he's going to try for early pressure, although I don't think that's going to work out for him, because Bisu already has a gateway up. Bisu also made his gateway before expansion, and actually he even made his extractor before expansion. So Bisu is kind of set up to handle early pressure. He's going to have Dragoons out pretty quick, and yeah, Marines do not do well against Dragoons. Marines with medics can kind of help against Dragoons, but you've got a really small window there when Bisu expands this quickly, and it does look like both Bisu and Light are scouting in the wrong direction. So they're going to discover each other last, although they'll discover each other's probes here in a second. And there goes the factory. So yeah, I didn't think when Light was going to go for early pressure, I really didn't expect him to go for early pressure with Marines, because Marines kind of suck against Protoss. You can do it, it's possible, but I don't recommend it. You know, tanks and vultures do much better. The mech build, interestingly, is the natural counter to Protoss, which I don't think the game designers really meant. You can see from StarCraft 2 that, in StarCraft 2, medics, Marauders, and Marines do very well against Protoss. Mech is better used against Zerg and other Terrans. So, we'll see. We'll see. I said that twice. You know it. So, we got a second gateway going up from Bisu, and we do have a couple Marines out on the field. So, looks like he is going to go ahead and try and see what he can do, but I'm going to tell you something, Light, you can't do much. And here comes the SCV Scout, going to run into a Dragoon, and the Dragoon's going to say, no, you can't come in. Meanwhile, here comes that, there comes the probe, and at least Light saved his SCV, at least for a little bit. I don't know if he'll actually get it away or not, but, the SCV just sort of ran into a torrent of bullet fire, and just, and that's the sound SCVs make when they die, in case you didn't know. Okay, Light looks like he's looking to expand. He's making, of course, his safe expansion, because Terrans can do that, the big cheaters. They're going to keep his expansion up, and away. And it looks like Bisu's going to come in for a pincer attack with pressure, but really his pincer attack's going to consist of two Dragoons. So, not the best pincer in the world. That's like getting crushed between, like, two really weak guys. Not the most horrible thing. So, looks like he got down to the base, and his Dragoon is going to fall back a little bit, which actually he probably shouldn't, because the only thing Light's got defending him at the moment is, like, 3 Marines. So those 2 Dragoons could actually have gotten in there, but no, there is a tank. Okay, there's a tank, that's why. And I saw the thing spinning, the thing being the machine shop, and so the siege mode should be up pretty soon. I'm guessing he's not going to go for vulture upgrades right away, just because, hey, why would you? When you've got tanks out, you don't have vultures. Don't upgrade the vultures you don't have. Make sense? Makes sense. So it looks like he is going to go ahead and start floating out there. And wow, there is an SCV. Okay, wow, that was weird. The SCV started getting fired on, so he turned the SCV around and had it fly back a little bit and then stop. So the Dragoon just sort of, waddled up or skittled up and took it out again. I don't know. I keep wanting to figure out what word to use for... Oh, that's interesting. We have a missile turret as the first building he builds down there, which is unusual. And so he's going to try and siege up, take those Dragoons out. The Dragoon's going to run in and take out one of the tanks. So good job there. And they also took out a Marine, and they took out the turret. The most critical thing they did is they forced that command center to go back. And they're forcing the barracks to leave as well. Although there is that tank on the high ground that is just making it very, very difficult. The Dragoons really can't go in, because trying to go up a ramp against a tank is bad, bad news. This does mean Bisu is going to get his expansion out slightly faster than Light will, because obviously, Light does have it done. He's going to float it down, and as soon as he can secure the area, he's going to, and right now he does. So, but Bisu does have his expansion up as well, and he's actually got probes at it. Light hasn't quite Maynarded his SCVs over yet. Is that Maynarded? Maynarded? I'm getting amused by stupid things. You guys don't mind, right? Okay, so Bisu's up there both at one expansion, and Bisu is going for a robotics facility. Now, and he's going for observers first. Okay. Light looks like he's somewhat predicted this because of how quickly he's getting turrets up. So the observers are going to be somewhat, I won't say weaker, though certainly still valid observers, but they won't be as good because, obviously, when turrets are around, observers don't have nearly the freedom of movement they like to have, because there's a lot of things over there that can spot them and then shoot little missiles. And observers don't like having missiles shot at them for some reason. I don't really know why. No one ever shoots a missile at me. And there's an SCV that is going to not be able to scout. Yeah, don't try and run, between two Dragoons. That's the worst place you can go. You want to try and get out of range of at least one of them. Running between two is just, yeah. But you saw what happens. I don't have to tell you it doesn't work. And here come some vultures that are similarly not going to get anything done. Because now those two Dragoons turned into about 6. And vultures can't really... Vultures have a hard time against Dragoons one-on-one. They need spider mines to take them out. So... And even with that many... With stationary Dragoons, you can't even run up and put spider mines out. And Bisu's going for a base at the 3 o'clock. So Bisu's trying to get an economic boost over Light. So... Very, worthy thing to do. He's also putting up a pylon wall at the entrance to the base in order to keep anything from getting in there. And, yep. Although now Light... knows that there's something going on at that base. He is aware, because otherwise there wouldn't have been any, pylon wall there. So he's like, there's Dragoons guarding one ramp and pylons guarding the other. Wonder if something's up there. That's not how Light actually talks, in case you were wondering. So it looks like Bisu does have observers out before the spider mines really came down. So he's not free to move around. Well, he is, but it's not like you can just run around at normal speed. You still got to wait for your observer to keep up with your army and move your army to attack, move, and take out the mines. So you still have to pay attention, but you do have a lot more leeway. And there are observers getting into this base. Okay, and that observer survived. So Light probably... Light's going to know at this point that there's stuff in his base, because he's seeing missile turrets firing at, a observer at the edge of its vision, and Marines opening up. So he knows they're in there, and the question will be whether he actually prevents it or not. Is he going to build more turrets, or is he going to build a science vessel and a Wraith and buddy cop around? I love that. But yeah, it looks like Bisu currently has vision of the factory line and the expansion. And he's getting his 3rd base up now, so he's going to have a production ability in just a second. So Light either needs to expand or put some hurt on, because right now Bisu will have slightly less troops. So if Light, it's not 100%. Just because someone's making an expansion doesn't mean if you push out you'll win, because you have to have the troops there. But generally speaking, in a Pro League match, it's assumed that they're doing a pretty good job. So if Light has been, macroing and without using the resource on the expansion that Bisu had to, he may be able to really put some hurt on it when he pushes out. But I actually, even though I'm saying that, I'm talking theory craft here. It doesn't really, I don't see enough troops to really justify that. He's got to have a lot more tanks. in order to really be able to do that. Although that will help him. No, it looks like they got the Spider-Mine at the last second, because I didn't see it. And this is Bisu's vision. He's got observers following things around, so he knows where light is and where the expansions are. And he's making an Arbiter Tribunal, it looks like, so he's going for recalls. Or stasises. It depends on how many tanks he's facing. And here we have Light's view. Light has changed his color to... Oh, that was weird. Did I just see him trying to make a second science facility? That'd be freaky. You never see that unless someone's going for, like, you know, battle cruisers and nukes. Neither of which I expect to see in this game, so... Hopefully not. That would have been really freaky. Maybe he was floating his. I don't know.